You don't need another strategy. Here's what you actually need to figure out why you can't implement the things that you already know. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, former psychologist, now business coach, and I help women just like us to build profitable private practices, usually in under 12 months. Being neurodivergent means I see the patterns that other coaches miss, but it also means I'm a truth teller, so I'm not interested in giving you any business advice that sounds good or might be trending, but doesn't actually work for us. Welcome to the Practice Momentum podcast, where we're going to get your private practice sorted out. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get on with the next episode. If you woke up this morning, got dressed, ready for work, turned on the computer, and then sat there sort of thinking to yourself, what am I meant to be doing? What should I actually be focusing on? Don't worry, this episode is for you. If you are new to private practice and you need to get some appointments in the diary, or maybe if you're in an established practice but you're needing some appointments, look, it could be appointments, right? It could be supervisees for your group supervision. It could be people registering for whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. If you're in that position, I'm going to help you out. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm super pleased that you're here. I just want to give you a quick heads up about today's episode. First, it's perhaps going to sound a little bit echoey, and that's because I'm in my new place. Yay! I just got in on Friday. Today's Wednesday morning. I'm still setting it up. I'm still unpacking, and the room that I have chosen to use for the study has barely no furniture in it, and it's got this great big window and floorboards and a lot of reflective surfaces, so it feels echoey to me. I hope it's not going to be too much of a problem for you listening. Just bear with me. I will try and get some soft furnishings in here before the weekend when we do the next episode. Also, I'm going to give you practical steps now, and then for those of you who do like to stay on and listen to the journey with the house and the psychic and all of that amazing, stay with me and I'll share a little bit more about what's happening there. Okay, so there's a process to follow if you're new to private practice and you're needing inquiries and bookings, and you can use this process if you're an established business and you're also in a position where you're needing more clients, right, for whatever it is, the program or the service that you're offering. So the first thing that I want to clarify is, I think it's fair to say that most of us know we've got to have a website, right? And the website is really a placeholder on the internet. I think what a lot of practitioners that I've worked with have misunderstood is they think that the website is the thing that's going to get them the clients. So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding there about it. So let me just clarify in case that might be you and you're thinking, well, I've got a website and everybody loves it, but I still don't have clients. Let me just sort of clarify things. The website is something that it's recommended you have. Some practices are doing quite well for themselves without one, but I would always recommend you do have one, especially now with, AI being everywhere. It's looking for you. You want to give your business as many opportunities as possible to be discovered, so that it gets in front of the right client for you. But the purpose of the website really is to provide information to people who are already aware that they need help for something, and B, for the most part, they're in the stage of buying, right? There's not really a whole heap of convincing to do. You don't have to do a whole lot of selling on your website. The website is really about just showing the potential client your personality, your knowledge, your credibility, your wisdom, your insights, all those kinds of things, right? With the idea that it's going to sync up with the right people for you, and then they will go ahead and they will book an inquiry call, sign up for your thing, download your thing, buy your thing, whatever it is. Okay, they'll take that kind of action. But the website itself isn't usually where clients first find you. Okay, and that's what you need to understand, because if you think that the website is enough and then you're going to go and do a few other things, you'll be struggling compared to other people to get the work, right? We don't want that. So You got to have the website there, but there's other things that get people over to the website. And this is the part that, with the clients that I've worked with, I've been doing this for nearly 10 years now, the business coaching side of things, a lot of the time they just don't understand that part, right? They don't understand the part about, well, I've got the website. How do I then get people over to it? Okay, so you got your website there. That's the first thing, right? How will you know when the website is ready and you can leave it alone? Well, a couple of things. Number one, you want to make sure that the website is optimized. So optimized just means that you've done everything in your power to write it and present it in a way that's really going to resonate with the people you most want to be working with in your business. And so that means minimal AI. In fact, don't ever get AI to write for you and then just throw that writing up onto the computer. That's one of the biggest problems that's happening over the last 12 or 18 months that I'm seeing on therapist websites, right? And it's problematic because Google just won't show your website if it's heavily AI, number one. But not only that, it's not that you get penalized for using AI, because you don't. What you get penalized for is not editing it, not refining it. If Google looks at your AI and it is what Google calls thin, which means it has zero value, it doesn't speak about you, it's not helpful, it's so vague, and things like that, then yes, you're going to get penalized. And that penalty looks like it just doesn't show your page. You're going to have to hunt through the pages. So, when you search on Google and it brings up the AI bit first of, or the AI recommendations, you want to be there, right? And then after that, it has the paid ads. So that's where it says sponsored. And then underneath that, that's when the rankings start. And Google will rank the page based on how well it answers the client's problem, right? The client's question that that client typed into the search. So if you've got very generic content that's all about you want to help people live their authentic lives, like Google can't do anything with that, client can't do anything with that. So you're getting buried, right? And you're going to have to be looking at page 7, 8, 9, 23 to find your website. And the client's not going to spend that much time looking, right? That's why we want to get you ranked. And SEO can help you with the ranking, sure, by making sure that, for example, there's indexing, but it can't rewrite the whole entire copy for you. That's not going to happen. So make sure that if you are using AI, you know how to use it. A quick tip, I would never get AI to write my thing and then just publish it. My preference that I tell my clients that I work with privately is write the thing yourself and then take it over to AI to be improved. I think a lot of therapists don't understand and they get it backwards and they just go into ChatGPT or Claude and they're like, write me this blog post or write me, my about section or something like that. And this is how they end up with this very generic chunked up information. So anyway, make sure it's your copy, make sure you're speaking through the lens of your practice wisdom, of your insights for working with your clients, the challenges that you've helped them with. You want to make it as relatable as possible, okay? And by drawing upon your own experiences and your own insights and your own wisdom, AI can't do that, right? And so this is what's going to build that connection for you. Very, very important. There are other things too, like make sure that you are demonstrating credibility. You've got trust signals on there, authority signals on there. It's easy to use. They don't have to use the contact form to book an appointment. They can get an appointment in 2 or 3 clicks, right? That's the gold standard benchmark. Ideally, your client should be able to book or enroll or purchase something in no more than 3 clicks. That's what you're going for there. And so once that website is done and it's been fully optimized for its AI discoverability, the SEO, all the things, leave it alone for 90 days. The reason why it takes 90 days is because that's just how long it takes to bake behind the scenes, and there's nothing you or I can do to speed that up. It is just a search engine thing. There's lots of different algorithms happening in the background that are going to give your website to a couple of people here and there to test it out, right? To see what the general response is. And then based on those initial findings, those search engines and their algorithms will show them perhaps to a few more people and a few more, and this is how it goes. And what's happening is this takes weeks, and the search engines are collecting data, collecting information so that they can determine whether or not you've got a website that they can, confidently give to an ideal client. And this is why generalist websites just don't work as well as those that have very clear niche and a very clear message. You can go and make changes to things that are less structural and less significant in terms of, optimization, things like that. For example, if you wanted to have a blog, you can absolutely go in, once a week or once a month and update your blog, and that's not going to dramatically impact, Google's 90 days to figure you out and start showing you to people. That's perfectly okay, all right? But again, don't just, write stuff and think it's a blog. Go and learn how to actually blog. Blogging is a marketing strategy. It's, yes, we all want to write from our heart, and we love our clients, we love what we do, but that doesn't get you a client, right? What's going to get you a client is making sure you've got the right words in the right places with the right headings and the right links, going to the right things, and, all of that. So you have to make sure that the blog is up to par. Otherwise, again, it's no point, and it will go against you because now it gets added into all of the content that's on the website. And because nothing's happening with it, sorry, there was a delivery, so I just had to stop that. So because nothing's happening with it, what happens is Google says, okay, people aren't interested in this, and then they will show it to even less people. So we don't want that happening. But anyway, make sure that the website is there, because what you're going to be doing is driving traffic to it, right? So step one, website. Spend time. It is not going to be quick. It is going to take you probably a lot of time, especially if you have to do rewrites of things and stuff like that. Just on rewrites, a quick piece of advice there is, if you are using AI and you're not going to follow my advice, that's your prerogative, of course. But before you go and put it on the website and hit publish, read it out loud. I know it's going to feel daggy and you're going to feel weird and uncomfortable and things like that, but do this because you will hear yourself and you'll be like, I don't speak like that. This sounds a bit clunky. And you'll want to go and edit it. And that's very, very important. That's a very good thing for you to do. Read it out loud, not just in your mind, actually read it out loud so your ears can hear it. Okay. So we start with the website, even though it's not the first way that people are going to find you, right? The reason that we start with the website is because if we just started posting on social media and we had a pretty bad looking website, what's the point of you doing all of the posting on your socials or paying for a Google ad only for people to come over to an incomplete website or a website that isn't converting, that's difficult to use, feels clunky, doesn't connect with anybody? You've just wasted money on your ad spend, and you have just, if you can hear pitter patter, it's because, as I said, I don't have a rug yet. Okay, I've got these floorboards and now Buddy's running around because the delivery guy. So we want to make sure website's done first. From the website, the next two big things that will drive traffic, i.e. potential clients, over to it are going to be your Google business profile. Now, I know some of you are rolling your eyes and you're thinking, oh gosh, that's so boring. I'll just skip that. I'll do that later. Don't, because here's why. Google will, if there are two websites that are, for all intents and purposes, say equal, if one has an active Google business profile it's going to be shown before the one that either doesn't have a Google Business profile or doesn't have an active one. So, Google Business has been constantly making changes to the Google Business profile structure and setup and what it is favoring with the Google Business algorithm, right? And even as recently as for some of my private clients in Practice Momentum, I was helping them with their Google Business profiles. And then I thought, oh, well, there's a few of them that need this help and I'll just make them a resource. So I made a resource, and then I got a couple of new clients, and it was their part in the journey, if you like, to go and set up their Google Business profiles. And they're watching my little training and using my resources, and they were like, oh, I can't find this bit on the profile. Can you point me in the right direction? Where is it? And I went and had a look, and boom, gone. So Google is all over updating the Google Business stuff, right? And one of the things that hasn't changed is it wants you to be posting on your Google Business profile, right? Think of it as like a little bit of a blog. It wants you to be posting there. If you set yours up 10 years ago and you haven't touched it since, don't even like looking at it, you definitely are at a disadvantage compared to somebody even with a brand new business and a brand new profile. If they're doing the things that Google wants now, for example, one of those things is doing, regular posting, you're going to be disadvantaged compared to the new person, right, is what I'm saying. So go and figure out, go and learn what needs to happen on the Google Business profile now. Also, the Google Business profile sends out trust signals to other websites and other directories and things like that work with their algorithms to, again, get your website found. So it's in your best interest to, I guess, swallow the pill, bitter as it is, that yes, a Google Business profile is incredibly boring to do, but it's going to get you a client, and that's what you want, right? Let's put that ahead. And then the other thing would be your Psychology Today profile. Now, this is very, very interesting to me. There are so many people who will say what a waste of time this Psychology Today profile is. But at the same time, there are also other people that consistently get inquiries from it and love it, right? If you have a Psychology Today profile and it's not converting, you're not getting, inquiries, or, when you go and check your insights, it will tell you how many people emailed you, phoned you, clicked your website, all those kinds of things. If you're not happy with that data, it's because there's an issue with what you've put on your profile. It's not that there's an issue with Psychology Today. It's an issue with what you have written on your Psychology Today profile. Okay. The profiles that do well are well written. They have a clear niche. They have a very clear message. They are completely filled out. This is one of the other things with, Google Business too, right? With Google Business and with Psychology Today and lots of other things. If you've got a form to fill out, it's always in your best interest to include as much detail as you can within the characters that you're restricted to. If you have a form and it says, tell us a little bit about your business, and you just write counsellor Ipswich, right? What's anybody going to be able to do with that versus somebody who says, counsellor providing in-person and online services based in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia, that works with women who are late diagnosed with ADHD. Right? You see what I'm saying? Don't be lazy. Don't just, because that's what it is. Some of it is laziness, yes. We've all been there. I've been lazy with it too, and I've just done it to tick it off and say that it was done. And I didn't realize when I was busy being lazy and, just doing it to tick the box, that it was hurting me. And so that's why it's very important that you understand, use all the characters that you possibly can. They're there for a reason. So on your Psychology Today profile, if you're given, 450 characters and you're using 100, that's going to be a very naked looking profile. And because of that, it can't be as data rich as one that's longer. The other thing that I help my clients with is making sure that those directory listings have also been optimized, right? And when they have been optimized, it doesn't take them too long to start to get improvements, right? Improvements in the number or the volume of inquiries, bookings, da 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 da. This is all very, very important stuff. So if you're new to private practice and you're needing inquiries and clients, this is your down and dirty stage 1 roadmap. It's got to be website number 1, and then do the Google business profile and the Psychology Today profile, but do them well. This takes some of my clients months to get right, but guess what? When they've gotten it right, boom, starts converting. I mean, one of my clients, we were working on her website. I'm just going to see if I can find some information here for you. We're working on her website, and she rewrote the copy, she updated her niche, she updated her messaging, all these kinds of things, and it just went so well. So over the course of a month, her traffic roughly doubled compared to the previous period. And more importantly, what we were able to see from the insights on her website was that the quality of the traffic had significantly improved. Okay, so by that, it was the average time spent on her website jumped to almost 7 minutes, which is almost unheard of. In fact, I'm just going to pause this and do a quick bit of research for you so that I can get the actual data. 1 second. Okay, I'm back with data. Okay, so the data is saying it varies platform by platform, but a standard average session duration, so that's how long a new person spends on your website, for most health websites sits between 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. She's gone to 7 minutes. Okay. The data also shows that if users engage long enough to read the content or explore the site, the sessions on the websites often plateau around the 2-minute mark. Now, she's got people on there for 7 minutes. How about that? This is what I'm saying. Like, she was frustrated when she had to redo parts of her website, because if you've ever worked with me, I'm like, you'll know what I'm saying. I'm like, this is great, but do it again. This is great, but let's fix this. This is great, but I can see we've taken a shortcut here. Let's not. Let's rewrite it. And so some of my clients get incredibly frustrated because they feel like they're not making any progress, and they feel like, gosh, it's been 6 weeks, Brooklyn, and we still haven't even finished the website. But the thing is that I'm so pedantic about making sure you've got all of the right things, because we want it converting. So yeah, in just 1 month, she's had all these big improvements in her website. It's so good. And her interactions have increased by over 400%. And an interaction is somebody clicking on different tabs, clicking on different buttons, going to different pages, reading, engaging while they're there, right? Just amazing. And she had a really low bounce rate. So a bounce rate is the time taken from somebody landing on your website to clicking off. So with hers being really low, that's saying that she's getting better quality. She's attracting the right people now. She wasn't doing that before. Okay? She wasn't doing that before. She's now at capacity for working with her clients, and now we're putting other strategies in place to support her, right? And support her clients and wait lists and all of the things. So yeah, that's your stage 1. It's going to be website number 1, and then afterwards the Google Business and Psychology Today. Let them bake for 90 days. Only make minor changes, if any. As I said, a minor change would be adding a blog post to the website. A minor change is going to be adding a post to your Google business profile. And I would just leave Psychology Today alone, let it go and do its thing as well. Okay. And then the other thing is, once all that's happening and you're in the 90 days now, right? That's when you start driving traffic. And this is the active part of your marketing. Okay, all that other stuff that you've done, the website, the Google profile, the Psychology Today, that's pretty much passive now, right? It's probably 90% set and forget for now. And so what we want to be doing for the balance of these 90 days is not sitting on our hands, freaking out in a state of high anxiety, refreshing the Galaxy diary every 5 seconds because we're waiting for the clients to come through. No, we need to be getting our clients who have never heard of us aware that we're here, we've got what they need, and we can absolutely support them, right? And that is called driving traffic to your website. The clients are the traffic, if you like. We want to send clients over to the website, right? And we do that in a number of ways. You can use paid advertising, like, for example, a meta ad on, Facebook or Instagram. You could do YouTube ads. You could do podcast ads. You could do Google ads. You could do things like be active on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. So some of your socials and things like that. If you're not into that, then you might go and start in-person networking. So for psychs, sometimes that can look like a GP meet and greet. For counsellors and social workers, it might be, this applies to psychs too, but you might go to the local MHPN meeting, right? Something like that. But again, networking, it's a whole thing. You can't just go once and expect referrals and do nothing to build, establish, develop, nurture relationships, right? You just, people are going to forget you. You've got to build relationships. Anyway, whole other podcast. But yeah, they're the two things. So we've got stage one, get everything set up, right? So it's like me with my house. I'm making sure I'm getting my house in order so that I can go out into the world. Hypothetically, I would never have anybody at my house, but so that I can go out into the world and I can say, hey guys, I've got what you need. If you need help with your business and getting clients and your marketing for your practice and all this kind of stuff, yeah, come. And then they can start coming over to my house and they can come in, they can have a look around, they can go, oh, this looks interesting. They're going to start browsing, right? And some of them will say, yeah, how can I work with you? And some of them won't. And then there's going to be a whole lot in the middle that are like, I'm going to remember Brooklyn for later. So, right, that's the difference. We've got to do stage one first and then we do stage two. Make sense? Anyway, I hope this was helpful in terms of clarifying your understanding of how the marketing works. It's very, very important that you know, because otherwise you could do what a lot of other people do, and that's focus on the wrong things, right? You might have a website and not realize that it's not great, and you're going to be posting all over Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and wondering why you're not getting any clients. It's because you got things backwards. Okay, so we can untangle those very easily. And if you need help, let me know. You can have, if you do seriously, genuinely want my help, of course, you can go ahead and book a 15-minute discovery call with me, and I can learn a little bit more about what your situation is and point you in the right direction, whether that's working with me or if you're not yet ready to work with me, or I don't think that you're in a place where you would benefit from that, I can absolutely point you in the right direction of something else that I might have that could be a better match for your situation, circumstances. Been my pleasure to help you out with that. So that is the education bit of today's podcast. And now, because I got a client in 15 minutes, I'm just going to spend 10 giving everyone who's interested a quick update on what's happening with the new house. So I can't really remember where I left off, but I know that I told you about, seeing the Reiki person, getting the message about the boulder falling. Okay, so now I'm here and I've got my house and it's great. I'm in the suburb and I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Feel great here. And I went online a couple of days ago, and after I finished sort of unpacking a few things, and I was curious. I was thinking, I want to know if there's more to this. So I went online and I'm in a couple of communities, and I was like, hey, this is going to sound a little bit strange to some of you, but I know maybe others of you might understand. But in a nutshell, here's my story. And I believe I was guided here by my pa. And so I'm trying to pull on different threads of this tapestry, and I'm just seeing where each one goes. And as part of that, I was wondering if maybe there might have been a connection between my pa and the family that experienced that tragic accident, right? The children especially. And I was thinking maybe there's a war connection. Pa was in the war, in the Second World War. These children will probably have been around that age. Maybe they were also in the Second World War. So I started trying to sort of have a little bit of a look around. And then the other thing that I thought was maybe there's some kind of family connection to this location. And I think I may have told you on a previous episode, so I won't go into it again. But I started having a look around, and it turns out that my pa, his mum's sister, so my pa's Auntie Agatha, went by Agnes, married a guy, moved to where I'm living now. They had 8 children, and she's buried here. And then I thought, holy smokes, could this be the connection? Like, what are the chances of this? What are the chances, right? It gives me goosebumps all the time. And then I was trying to calculate how old would those 8 children be, because she was born, I think, 1914 or something, and she was 97 when she passed. I think she passed in 1977, and I was born in 74. So I'm thinking it's possible that her children might still be around. I don't know. So then I just sort of put it out there and I said, hey, this is the situation. Do you think it's possible? And would you believe that, yes, there are living relatives. There are living relatives. And even this morning, I asked in this community group, and I was like, hey, I don't know, this could be a long shot, but what do you think? Da, 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 da. And people were like, oh, yes, I knew this family and I grew up on their street. And a few people were saying that they grew up on the street, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody said, hey, I was married to one of the sons. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And she gave me some information, and she said the street that they lived on and, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh, amazing. And she said that, while she's divorced from one of the sons, she could get in touch with him, and or she said that I could get in touch with him and he'd probably be quite happy to help me. And I said, oh, that'd be amazing if you could, send me a message with some information. I would be so appreciative, if you're comfortable with that, of course. And then anyway, this morning I woke up and she sent me a message, and she was introducing herself, and she was so lovely. And she said to me, listen, I have spoken to my ex-husband. I've told him about you, and he lives literally around the corner. If you could imagine a block, right? He's on one side, I'm on the other side. We're at right angles to each other on the one block. I mean, seriously, I know I'm meant to be here. And she said, yep, so I've spoken to him, told him about you, da, 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 da. But she said, sometimes men aren't really into genealogy and stuff like that, and family things. So for that reason, I've also reached out to one of his sisters and told her about you. And she said, if there's anything more I can do to help, of course, let me know. But yeah, you can go and visit my ex anytime. He is expecting you and looking forward to receiving you. I mean, can you believe it? Can you believe it? I can't. I can, but I can't. It's like, I'm so excited. But now I'm also kind of nervous and I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to prove that I'm not some crazy lady with a dog? And so now the mission for me is going to be I've got printouts of some photos of my pa, which I don't know if that will have any meaning to this brother, but they were cousins. So he could very well have known my pa and be able to tell me some information about my pa. And so if I can show him a photo of my pa, maybe that might spark a memory or something. So there's that. And I thought the other thing I can do to prove myself might be to print out some information that I've done of the genealogy that shows the relationships and things like that, and any other images or pictures that I might be able to find. So I'm very, very excited, but of course, super duper nervous because, what do you say? I'm just going to go there and go, hi, understand your ex-wife told you about me and blah, blah, blah. I need to figure that bit out because I want him to be comfortable and I also want to be comfortable, right? Anyway, so there was that. And then the sister, I saw this morning, I had a couple of notifications that she'd been liking a couple of things of mine. And I thought, oh, wow, this is so exciting. And when I went to check, her profile's in total lockdown, no profile picture. She's had the profile for years. I get the feeling she doesn't use it much, or she's super duper 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 private, which I want to be very, very respectful of. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. If she wants to reach out, she can. I don't want to invade her privacy by, sending her a message uninvited or anything like that. So I'll just kind of let that simmer for a little bit. But isn't this so exciting? It is so exciting. And now I've got street names of where my relatives lived. And I'm just new here. I don't know any of the street names. Well, I know two. So yeah, I'm going to go and have a little bit of a look and I'm so excited. I know I'm meant to be here, and I know that there is more to this story. Speaking of, there is a lot more to this story that I haven't shared with you yet, that I'm still kind of figuring out, if I will, and the answer is, of course, going to be yes, but I guess I just need to figure out how, because it's my story and it's my journey and it's my experiences, but I also want to be mindful of, let's say, third parties. So yeah, I just have to figure out in my downtime what the best way of doing that without upsetting anybody might be. So yeah, I've just got to think about that a little bit, but I will absolutely share it with you, and I'll tell you why I'm going to share it with you. I've decided to do that. It's because I know I was not the only one in that position, and the reason that I know that is because I shared glimpses of it anonymously in another online community, and boom, within minutes of sharing, I had all these messages coming into my inbox. And this is something that people just aren't talking about. And you know me, I'm going to talk about the things that nobody talks about. So I will talk about it. I just want to be considerate and mindful and thoughtful of how. Yeah, it will be a podcast episode, but you know what I'm saying. I want to be respectful and mindful of, as I said, people. So leave that with me and then I'll share it, because I know that my experience is, yes, it's unique to me, but I know I'm not the only person. And this is going to be especially important, I imagine, for people with a trauma background, or I believe 100% that the neurodivergence that I developed came about as a result of my childhood trauma. Yes, I have read, the Lancet. I've seen that articles. I understand that neurodivergence can be brought about by that. The autism was already there. So I'm not sure it's going to affect anybody or be as meaningful to somebody with the autism only. But if you've got a trauma background, if you've had the people-pleasing background, if you've been zipping your lip, right, dialing down, all those kinds of things, prioritizing other people, tiptoeing, pussyfooting, all of those things, then this story is actually going to be hopefully something that will maybe help you see something you haven't seen or recognized yet, but also, I guess more than that, help you realize, A, you're not alone, and B, there are ways, okay? There are ways, and I will share with you what worked for me as well as what didn't, and you can take what you like from it and leave it. So I don't know when I'll record that one. As I said, I have to do a little bit of thinking about it first, and then I will. Okay, well, that's it. I hope this was super helpful. If you found it helpful, let me know. Leave a comment. If you haven't had time to leave a review for the podcast, please do. I would be so appreciative, and thank you so much. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.